Life after fasting, what are the true benefits? I'll leave Jibrin to tell us a little bit about that.
Well, life after fasting is largely a thing of what's even the fasting about and what are we carrying forward from the fasting. And like from the Quran, the purpose, the core purpose of fasting is to build what is called taqwa. Taqwa is self-restraint.
Okay.
You know, so the whole fasting thing is how do you gain control of your bodily needs? If you gain control of your bodily needs, you would be able to move closer to Allah, to God, wherein you achieve a higher level of spirituality. Because like a lot of human weaknesses, greed, impatience, you know, many of these things are the things that the month of Ramadan aims to help you curtail. Okay. And again, you know, Allah has specifically also changed the devil, the big distraction, the big devil, so to say. So it's now really you, lesser influence from external stuff. Whatever you feel in Ramadan is you. So you have a chance to really control yourself. And then by the middle of it, like he said, that the first 10 days of Ramadan is the period of mercy. The second 10 days of Ramadan is period of forgiveness. Okay. And the last 10 days of Ramadan is the period of, you know, taking you away, saving the person from hellfire. Okay. So with all this, it's like a gradual progression to salvation, so to say. So I think after Ramadan is how one is able to carry those exercises, like going into an exam, going into a cleaning process, like your car goes for maintenance. Yes. You come after it, how effectively can you like carry, you don't now start driving the car roughly, can you now take those benefits that, okay, I was able to control my anger, so after Ramadan, does that mean I throw all that benefit I got out of the window? That's at the level of your personal feelings. Okay. But at spiritual level, there are a number of things that increases spirituality after you've gained control of your body, which is something like the extra prayers. The extra prayers, you have things like giving charity. The month of Ramadan is the month where you should give a lot of charity. Okay. So when you come out of all those things, it's a chance for you to sustain them. It's actually the success of Ramadan is measured by how long can you sustain those higher level performance of your body control and your spiritual connection. How long after Ramadan can you sustain it is a measure of how successful the Ramadan itself was. Okay. So it's really a fantastic opportunity. And especially from the spiritual side, the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has also told us to fast extra 6 days in the second month, so that you don't just shut off, hey, alhamdulillah, we've finished Ramadan, and you just shut off. No. You are now encouraged to fast another 6 days in the month of Shawwal, the subsequent month. Okay. So that gives you, so that you don't just tune off and then just, you know, go on a binge on returning back to your old self. So that's like going back to the normal self. Okay. So after Ramadan is going to be sincerely a test for one to get, okay, how well did I do? If you go and 2 days later, or even on the day of Eid, you're already like, somebody insults you, you're already all agitated, you're already not praying on time, you're already not giving charity again, one might start to check. You should make an introspection that how it seems that Ramadan didn't go very well if you could not retain many of those benefits. Okay. Yeah.
How do you want to?
Yeah, he's right when he said that Ramadan, the fasting is something that has to do with the cleansing of the soul. You know, there is a prophetic tradition that says the shaitan is running through the blood of mankind, just like the veins. So fasting cleans those debts and everything. It makes somebody pure and clean. So when you look at it, that's why you see that people during Ramadan, that calmness, that's, you know, readiness to worship, readiness to give, readiness to share, that love, care, support. You see so many good activities going on during Ramadan. So when we look at that good activities, some people easily forget. After, as he just rightly said, that after Ramadan, some people forget that, yeah, I'm supposed to pray promptly, by the right time. No, I have something doing, I have to. But during Ramadan, you see the mosques is always filled to capacity.
Super
You
filled.
see people, you know, even the people that you don't even know they were Muslims, that as in, you see them praying, you'll be surprised that, so this person is actually a Muslim. He's praying with us today. Meanwhile, before Ramadan, I used to see him sitting. When we are praying, he would say, okay, I'll pray mine later. You know, all those kind of things.
Yes.
During Ramadan, it's really beautiful. You see the religion really, you know, going to high standards. You see, everybody is in good control. You know, all those drinking, smoking, bad habits, all these illegal sexual activities, you hardly see people roaming around because they are occupied. That hunger alone is a test. Is a test, because when you are hungry, the energy is not there to do extra things. You are supposed to preserve it to connect with your Creator.
Could you tell us, I know there are some certain guidelines for women during fasting, because there are particular days that they are not allowed to fast. Could you enlighten
yes,
us about that?
Actually, as a woman, especially woman, they are being divided in different categories. Like a pregnant woman, she's allowed to drop her fasting if actually that fast will affect her health or the baby's health, because Islam does not bring hardship to humanity, it's always bring ease. So if she cannot really fast because she feels like the baby, especially when the pregnancy in the second trimester or the third trimester, you see that a lot of hunger, sickness, you know, she will always feel weak. So if actually within her she knows that she cannot make up, cope with the fasting, she can drop the fasting and pay back after the Ramadan. And she has like the whole year after Ramadan to pay back. If she can pay one, after a week she fast another one until she complete the ones that she missed. Also, a breastfeeding mother is exempted if that will bring harm to her baby, especially newborn baby that cannot take any other food apart from milk. Then if she did not eat enough, the baby will be harmed by that. Then she's also allowed to be exempted from fasting, and she can make up after. Also, a woman that is on her menstrual period, that's monthly cycles, she cannot fast. That one is confirmed. She doesn't have option. She is exempted from fasting because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he said that he is pure and he needs people that are pure. So it's like when you are when a woman is going through that menstrual cycle, she is not completely pure, so she cannot fast, she cannot pray, she cannot do some certain things, but actually is encouraged to recite the Holy Quran, and she can do that if she has it on her head, that's memorize it, or she can listen or read other Islamic books, engage herself in other Islamic activities such as remembrance of Allah, such as when she have so many things to partake during the Ramadan. Even in the kitchen while slicing onions, she can be doing her zikr, subhanallah, subhanallah, alhamdulillah, Allahu Akbar. She can be doing that to earn more reward, because Allah knows her situation. She's not just staying away from fasting because she doesn't want to fast, but because it's compulsory for her to just stay back, and she can make up after the month of Ramadan.
I've heard about making up fast, but I understand that there are some other voluntary fasts that people do after Ramadan. I don't know if Jibril can tell us a little bit about that. Do you have to do it? Is it something that I know for the women you have to after your period is over, but what about in the case of the men and voluntary fasts even generally for people? Could you tell us about that?
You see, I think largely it's to understand the purpose. Islam a lot of times is driven by purpose. So actions are judged, are interpreted and managed based on the reason, the intention for doing it. So fasting is such a beautiful phenomenon, a beautiful act of worship of the five primary pillars of Islam. And the thing with fasting is it's a time to, like I said before, self-control is key. Because, like, for example, on the scale on the judgment day, Islamically, what is the heaviest thing? Because it will be a scale. So what is the heaviest thing on the scales? If they put all the sins and all the good deeds and everything, what is the heaviest on that scale? Is a good character. And what's a good character? Is your ability to be fair to somebody, to not take what doesn't belong to you. And, you know, self-control has a lot to do. So Ramadan is a chance to gain that self-control. Outside the month, you can now, like every Mondays and Thursdays, the Prophet used to fast so that you don't go out of tune.
Okay.
You don't go out of tune. You keep getting that benefit. Every Mondays and Thursday, you are encouraged to fast. Then in the months, you know, the Islamic month is based on the moon.
Yes.
So from the 13th, 14th, 15th, the moon is usually in the fullest. That's like, it's called the white days, because on those nights you see the full moon.
Full moon, yes.
So on those 3 days, you are also encouraged to fast. These are all voluntary fasts to keep you in tune. You know, like it's all we would know, the fasting has a lot of, not just the spiritual benefits, there are actually a lot of physical benefits. You know, you gain control over what you eat. A lot of us do not have strong control over of what we take in. So there is, so generally the issue of fasting, voluntary fasting is an excellent thing. One could do it. Anybody can do it. I mean, if it's not like for the ladies, it's not like they're off salat at that point. But for the man, it's excellent. There are prescribed periods that one could do it, like the Mondays and Thursdays, the white days. Let me see. Then there are some times like before the big Salah, also the Eid al-Kabir. They could also fast within that first 10 days. So there are a lot of opportunities to fast across the year that are not binding.
Okay.
The one that is binding is the one, if you break it, if you have a situation that makes you break it. For example, you are traveling. For example, you are not feeling fine.
Okay.
And like she said, the Ramadan, Allah did not prescribe the Ramadan. The fasting is not like a punishment. So if for a good reason you are traveling, the whole stress of trip, you are free to cut it and then repay one back. But because it's compulsory, if you now feel like, Gaske, I'm not even feeling like fasting today, you just be like, everybody is fasting, maybe I'm not fasting. No, the repayment for that is 60 continuous days. So, you know, the repayment of that, like, I don't feel like fasting. No, you feel like fasting.
Okay.
It's like saying you don't feel like praying, you don't feel like fasting. Those are pillars, those are things that are compulsory that you should do. Okay. If you break them, the expiation, the repayment, the atonement, so to say, are more serious.
Okay.
So that's why you see that's the beauty of the month of a lot of things in Islam. There's a compulsory thing, but Allah gives you the voluntary one, like even prayer that we do. You see that there are the 5 compulsory ones, but you have a chance to pray nawafil, wake up in the midnight and make 2 rakats in the afternoon, after this, after that. Those are voluntary. So you get used to it. Okay. You can do them, you don't do them. If you don't do them, you don't just get the benefit. Okay. But if you do them, you get the reward. So if you feel like, no, okay, there's no punishment. But for the compulsory, when they now become compulsory, like if I may go into it, you have the 5 pillars of Islam. The first one is the belief in Allah and His prophets. The second one is salat. So you have compulsory salat, but you have a lot of voluntary salat. Okay. The third one is this fasting. You have the compulsory in the month of Ramadan, but you have a lot of voluntary ones. Then the fourth one is zakat, to give from your wealth, which is if you've accumulated like 1.2 million now, and it's in your account, is in your possession for a year. Yes. Then you are mandated to take 2.5% of that. Okay. So if you have a million, 2.5% of a million is 25,000. 10% is 100,000. 2.5 is like 25,000. So after a year, you are compelled to remove that 2.5%. You must. So that's the compulsory. But the optional one is the charity you give every day. Yes. And then for Hajj, which is the 5th one, you have the Hajj that if you have the means and you have the resources, you have the health, then you must go. If you don't have the means, it's understandable. Immediately you have the means, then it becomes binding on you. Okay. And that also has its own voluntary side. Okay. So all acts have their compulsory side and then the voluntary side. If you don't do them, okay, you don't feel like doing them. But the compulsory one you have to do. So that ensures that people, you see, I think the whole challenge that Islam deals with is the issue of humans getting distracted. If you leave everything to voluntary, if there are no law enforcement, essentially,
Yes.
you see a lot of people would rather do what they want to do. So, like a lot of things in Islam, from my understanding, Allah puts some things that are compulsory to keep you in check, to keep you in control of your body. So that's the thing about some things being compulsory and some things being optional, voluntary, that you can use to prep up yourself to get the benefits and all those things. So that way, human being should be to have a lot of self-control. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I understand that during this period, the last days, it's also quite significant. I don't know if anyone is ready to throw light on that, but I know that it's a very big thing towards the very last days.
From your own view, what have you heard about it?
Well, I know that there's a Night of Majesty. I've heard about that, but I'm not totally sure what that is. So I don't know, maybe Hawa is going to tell us about that.
Actually, the last 10 days of Ramadan are the days rounding up the Ramadan of 18 completely. In that last 10 days, especially the odd days, as the 21st, the 23rd, 5th, 27th, I have more of a expectation that the Laylatul Qadr will fall on an odd day. As after that means the 21st, we start expecting it from the night of the 21st, then the 23rd, the 25th to the 27th of the Ramadan. And that day is a day that's any act being done that day is multiplied. I think Ustaz 83 times or so.
Yes,
83,000. 83,000.
That's like 1,000 months.
Yes.
Ramadan. It's the value. Anything you do on that night, if you're able to catch that night, it's been
multiplied like 83,000, like worship of 83 years. Yeah. So if people are eager to witness that night, and that night cannot be prescribed by ordinary person. It's just when you have, some people might be sleeping, and if Allah wills, He shows them that, and it's being said that it's a very nice environment. You see calmness, you see peace, you see, as if you are not in this world, you are somewhere else. You see that night is always calm, and the weather is being cool. It's not hot weather, and some that are praying that during the last 10 days you can actually partake in tahajjud, that's voluntary prayers. After the Taraweeh, you still take your tahajjud and keep your day, your night fully involved, yes, so that you will be able to witness, you have that hope to witness that night, because that's part of the Ramadan, and everybody wants that blessing for himself. So if you did not partake, you sleep, and you did not engage in good activities, you might be exempted from partaking in that night. Also, when we talk about that last 10 days, you see that people sometimes seems to deviate a little. Instead of them to take full control of the last 10 days, you see them preparing for Salah, thinking of sewing, thinking of food, chin, I want to do samosa, I want to go to this park, they forget, and that's where they need more dedication. But all those things are not compulsory. Wearing new clothes in Salah is not compulsory. It's only when you have the capacity.
Yes.
That's one thing, one beautiful thing about
But how do you get them to focus? How do you get them to say, okay, wait, Salah is good, Zobo is good, the chicken and everything is good, but let's focus on these last few days. How do you do that?
The focus is, I always encourage people to plan.
Okay.
Planning and timing. When you know your purpose of creation, a Muslim is say that وَمَا خَلَقَتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the jinn and the mankind for the purpose of worship. They should worship Him. So that fasting, if you look at it as a purpose, as in is a pillar, I need to dedicate, I need to do it sincerely, I need to, carry myself along, remove all worldly activities, as in, you want to relate with your creator. You want to be closer to him like never before. So you have to, you know, when you have that in your mind, you'll be eager. When I'm doing this, okay, there are so many things that I can do. I can be doing zikr, I can, that's supplications, that's some azkar, I can be doing this, I have to go to tafsir, I have to, you know, keep myself calm, as in not overstress myself, so that I will be able to wake up during the night and also pray voluntary prayer. It's not every day. This is a test. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that he created mankind to test them. He created the man, life and death for tests. So this is part of the life. He created you. This fasting is taking some things away from you, and you endure. You don't have to go to your husband during the daytime, from the sun sets to sunrise to sunset.
Yes.
So you don't have to eat. You see something, even the smell alone, when you are cooking, you see that the aroma alone, how I wish I would test it. But that control is there because you fear Allah. You know that even though he's not there, he is watching.
He's watching.
Wherever you are, he watches. So that self-control that you have will help you to, you know, plan and time. No, actually, this is not what I want. This is what I want. And if really you know what you want to, you know, gather, because you don't even know if you will reach the next month, the next Ramadan,
Yes.
to say, because that is at stipulated period. So you have to, you know, take the whole time, dedicate it for that particular Ramadan, so that you have that conscience and piety in you, and you, inshallah, get the best of reward. And you know, one thing with Ramadan is that all the other 5 pillars, their reward is stipulated. If you pray, you earn so reward. If you pay zakat, you are cleansing your wealth. If you testimony, without testimony, you are already out of Islam. So if you fast, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that fasting is mine and the reward is from me. He did not even tell us
what that reward
yes,
is.
so that would ginger you. That he said is his own.
Okay.
Because that fasting might even become a way of intercession during the judgment day.
Yes.
To come and say, this person fasted sincerely. He has the right to hide and take water. He did not take water. He can hide and do other certain things that are forbidden, but he refused to do it because he fears his creator and he wants that reward. Ya Allah, forgive him and have mercy on him. Then you might be lucky if you I dedicate and, you know, have that hope and desire. Allah will assist you, and because Allah is a merciful God and forgiving. So it's, you know, really uplift the standard of mankind.
Okay. Let me ask a question coming from a non-Muslim perspective. What are the real guidelines about iftar? Are you supposed to have that as a quiet time with your family? Or is it a period where you're supposed to open the doors and let everybody in and feed them? What's the real...
Iftar is for everybody.
Okay.
When you are looking for reward, you can't select that this is what I want. This is not a no.
Okay.
It's for everybody.
Okay.
You embrace everybody. That unity. Like, my neighbor is not a Muslim, but when she see me cooking, I give her every day. When we cook, I will tell her that, are you interested? This is what we have. So yes, even yesterday she said, actually, I was very hungry. I'm grateful. That alone is something. You have put a smile in somebody's face, on somebody's face, and that alone is the reward. Okay. You have earned yourself a good reward. So it's not meant for only Muslim. You invite your neighbors, even far people. You see that you take the food. You don't say that, you did not fast. Why will you eat from my food? No.
Because I get those questions sometimes, you know, but are you fasting? Or are you, when you say, are we coming to your house this evening? They say, but are you fasting? You get, sometimes you get those. People are just...
Some of them could be jocular, actually. As in, but sometimes the iftar is actually, the whole essence of Ramadan is, you know, helping people come together even more.
Unity.
It helps in form of unity, in form of self-respect, you know, building relationships. So iftar, after all the self-restraint during the day, iftar is a fantastic opportunity to, you know, take what you're, you know, open the door to friends, open the door to the family. So that's why sometimes you go, you break your fast here, tomorrow you break your fast there.
Yes.
Sometimes even in the mosque, you see the whole community comes to, break their fast in the mosque. For example, in the mosque that I walk, I do some of my stuffs there. There is feeding for 1,000 people every day. So 1,000. So everybody goes there, okay, and everybody just eats together.
Yes.
One thing with Ramadan is it's a chance that even somebody that is weak with respect to his spirituality and some of these things gets drawn in, because there is a whole mobilization around it.
Yes.
You go, like yesterday night, during the tahajjud in the night, the mosque was full. Even the car park was full and everything. I mean, in the midnight, not during the day. People wake up in the midnight, come over to the mosque, and everybody is there praying. So there is that community mobilization. There is a whole spiritual mobilization, and everybody is there thing. So just like Iftar too, is a time, it's a happy moment for everybody at that time.
To come to add on Iftar, when it is the Prophet ﷺ said that when you feed a fasting person, you get the same reward as the person, and his own reward is intact, will not be reduced. So come to think of it, if you feed so many people, how many rewards, how much will you earn for yourself?
It's like using one fasting one and getting 10.
Yes.
Because so it becomes like a little bit of
it's competition.
I'll feed you. Okay, let me feed you. Please come and break fast in my place. Come and break fast in my place and everything. So
you see people inviting. How I would like, I say I have like 10 people in my family. Can I come to your house? You are welcome. Just come, please like come to my house. You see people sending invitations. Come and eat with me. Come and have iftar in my house. So it's really interesting.
Okay. So in the spirit of true unity, NTA also organized their own iftar for Muslims and non-Muslims. We'll see some scenes from the breaking of fast, and we'll be right back after this in the conversation room.
Derivable benefits of this month is promotion of peaceful coexistence, extension of hands of friendship, total submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why we do that in NTA? We, the Muslim community, seeking the support of the management, is that to showcase that oneness of Nigeria.
A program of this nature is so interesting, seeing the Muslim community calling the Christian community to come together and also celebrate this. Not only that, but also to give a message to all the citizens of this country that in such a time as this, we need unity.
The first, the second, and the third, I am happy to say I am part of it. And sincerely speaking, it is a good thing they are doing, because this will unite, will go a long way to send a signal to Muslim and Christians that there's nothing like being united.
And over the years, we have been preaching religious tolerance. That's one of the tenets of the two religions, peaceful coexistence, religious tolerance, and it's exhibited here.
My childhood days, this period was a period of celebration for all of us in the community, because we will eat and drink. At the end of the fasting period, we will sing Lo Kwachin Azimi Yawuche Zamuchi Zamushamu Koshi Purada no Tuodamia Lo Kwachin Azimi Yawuche. That was our song we sing. And during the time of fasting, we'll go around from house to house, all of us as children, Christians and Muslims, and we will sing all kinds of songs. Asharua, Asharua Labia, Asharua, Masijidan Nambachi Kuke Ko Sallah, Asharua, Mbachine Kutashi Doman Allah, Asharua, Naima Parki Nasiruna Al Jannah, Asharua, Yanazama Akura. And so, we lived as one community. Let us continue to be one, in spite of our various commitments to faith.
All right, so the scenes from Breaking of Fast at NTA, where we bring people together in unity, love, and peace. All right, we're still in the conversation. We're talking about breaking a fast and life after Ramadan. Maybe, Hawa, you want to tell us about moving on after the fasting period, what you as a woman expect, maybe some of the things that you're personally expecting, and some advice for women out there as well.
Actually, as Ustaz rightly said here, he said that, carrying the spiritual, the personal, and, impact of Ramadan, after Ramadan. That's voluntary fast, like immediately after Ramadan, he said we have Sita Shawwal, that's 6 days of fasting. And in that, since it's not a compulsory fast, you can break it. You can do it at once, 6 days at once. Then you can even break it one today, one next tomorrow, the way it's convenient for you.
Okay.
And that's six fasts can only be done after the first 3 days of Eid. That's because God always wants us to, have ease of things, because he doesn't want to impose something that is difficult. After fasting 29 to 30 days, then immediately you are to fast another 6 days. No, you have to, eat, gather some more strength and energy to have to fast that 6 days. Some women might, the first, because it's for the whole month, that's around 29 to 30 days also. That's 6 days. You can spread it throughout the month. Okay. For women that are off Salah, that's women that are on their menstrual cycle, can, relax a little bit. Then after that, they can take over. Also, children, you can encourage our young or teenagers to participate, because it makes you remember that fasting of Ramadan is not all over. We have to follow up. And there is a the prophetic tradition that says that the companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam seek for to see to reach to the month of Ramadan 6 months before Ramadan. So they will be praying, Allahumma balighna Ramadan. Oh Allah, let us reach the month of Ramadan. They will keep on that prayer. Okay. And 6 months after again, that's a year round. 6 months after, they will keep on praying, oh Allah, accept from us our Ramadan. Oh Allah, accept from us our Ramadan. Because you don't even know whether you are just staying with hunger. You might be doing something that is wrong. You don't even know. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that he will not punish you for something that you did wrongfully. Okay. But also we need to seek for knowledge, because you cannot sit at home and say, I don't know. That idleness is not an excuse. So you seek for knowledge, know what are the rightful things. There are so many books. I have one book on menstrual and postnatal bleeding for women. Okay. And we have these 5 pillars of Islam, questions and answers, 500 questions and answers. Wow. That you find that there are questions being raised by other people, and the scholars combine it together to bring it together. While reading that book, you find something that, this thing have been bothering me. So that's how it's supposed to be, because this question and answer, the question that people ask, then the scholars answer it and combine it in form of a book. So also, after that, a woman can fast the 6 voluntary fast after Ramadan. That's the Sita Shawwal, before her makeup fast. The one that she missed, because this one is stipulated within that 1 month. That's 29 to 30 days. And if she missed it, she have missed. Okay. But her own makeup fast can come throughout there. Okay. She can decide to, if it is 7, this month I'll fast 1, next month 1, till a month before Ramadan, a day before Ramadan you can fast. Okay. So it's a good thing to be carried along. That's why the voluntary fasting, the Mondays and the Thursdays, the white days, that's the 3 days that my brother here rightly said, is important. It keeps you in the spirit. You always have that, if I'm fasting, even if Ramadan is coming, you won't feel that, I have to stop eating now. I have, your system is always occupied with food. I want to eat granite. I want to chew chewing gum. I want to, I want to chop. Some people even lie down with some things close to the bed when they wake up. So that will help you to control, and is healthy for you. Yeah. Fasting is good. It's remove all the dirtiness, the excess fats, you know, things. You see, everybody is looking normal now. No pot belly, nothing, you know. Everybody will reduce to normal. And it's not that you have reduced, you are sick. No. You have removed the excess. Fats and dirtiness in you, and you are clean. So to keep that going, we need to continue with the voluntary fast. But it's not compulsory, but it's recommended, and it's strongly recommended. So
I think additionally, going forward from Ramadan, there are things like charity. You know, I like to emphasize that because, or across board, even philosophically and everything, givers don't lack. So givers never lack. So even after Ramadan, the whole charity that Ramadan tries to, you know, bring to prominence in one's mind, it's something that should be sustained after Ramadan. You know, one idea that people have said is, whatever change you have a little box in your house where you have a change, okay, give this to charity. So that every other day, every 3 days, every week, whatever periodically, you could drop. At a certain time, you give it out. You give it to the right charity. And then another thing that is important after Ramadan is what you do little but consistently. The Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said is better than what you want to do a big thing and then you are inconsistent about it. So I think that's another thing that we could carry forward from Ramadan. Like if you say give, it's not that until you have some big word, until you are waiting for that contract. As long as you can eat, you are eating, and you are okay. That means you have enough to give, however little. So giving little consistently is very key. And then even the tahajjud, all the extra prayer, you need not pack big that you do once and then you get tired. Even if you wake in the midnight, you make just 2 rakats, just something of just 10 minutes, so that you can do it consistently. You don't get tired, you don't wear yourself out over time. Will be so that giving consistently, little consistently, is very, very, very important. So it's among those things that one could, you know, look forward to carrying forward. And then one key thing for Muslims after Ramadan is the whole blessing and the control that Allah gives ones the power over during Ramadan. One of them enables you to pray on time, the compulsory salat. So that's one thing I would really encourage a lot of us to find a way to guard. Whatever it is, we don't fall outside Ramadan, and those compulsory, the basic salat, we are no more praying it on time, we are no more praying it in congregation, and you know, everything that we used to do in Ramadan. The basic ones, we must keep an eye on them, not to fall below them, you know. So I think those things are key. And again, if we look at the NTA, the shots of the iftar, the NTA Iftar, you see the number of people that came together. Communalism is very important. You saw non-Muslims there, you saw Muslims there. That is the essence of Ramadan. That is the essence of Islam, helping communities to come together. So many, if you take, you know, I worry sometimes at the acrimony, at the tension that is between communities sometimes. When, like the typical verse in the Quran that, lakum dinukum, for you is your religion, for me is my religion. You can tell me about your religion, it's no big deal. I can tell you about mine, and that's it. But there are some common enemies around poverty that doesn't know whatever religion you are. Look, let's deal with it together. Let's support each other and deal with it. You have, I don't have. Give me today. Tomorrow I have, you don't have, I give you. So that kind of giving, that kind of atmosphere we saw there is something that should be sustained after Ramadan. So maybe our NTA to call us for.
To call us for more. And you know, actually giving, the Prophet ﷺ says the hands that give is always at the top. The hands that take is always going down. So if you always relax to say, okay, let me beg, like this is common with the Al-Majri people, they will tell you, Allah ibakum samu. Why wouldn't they? May God give you so that you give me. Why won't you pray for yourself? Oh, Allah, give me. No, you pray for somebody, Allah ibakum samu. So you don't want Allah to give you, then you are praying for somebody to get and give you, you are lazy. And Islam does not encourage laziness. So you always seek that, okay, if I have 10 naira, I must remove 1 naira or share with somebody. Even if it is orange, let me buy orange, cut it, slice it into 4. Take 1, this is all I have. And Allah judge people according to their intention. You end up bringing so much food with big meats, but your intention there is not good. It's just to show my neighbor that I pass you. What can you do? During Iftar, you even only brought dates, that's the bino, to give people, or pap without even sugar. But in my house, we eat to, we eat to our satisfaction. Look at chickens. If you see this out, that means I'm eating big in my house. No, that intention alone have erased the reward.
The reward of that.
So when you want to do it, you have good reward. The person that is giving small quantity with good intention and strong faith and hoping for Allah's reward, you end up getting a bigger reward than the person that would just show off. You come and say, oh, I have to, invite thousands of people to come and feed them. It's just to make mouth, so that tomorrow he will not tell you that, so many people, I fed like 100,000 people during this Ramadan. I did charity to this. It's just to make fame. He's showing off.
Yeah.
And that is completely wrong and forbidden. And he is not going to earn any reward.
Yeah.
But
Because he has essentially gotten his reward from the faith.
Yes, because that's the Prophet ﷺ. That's what he said. He said that during the judgment day, some people now said, okay, go and take your reward. You have taken your reward already from the people that you did for, because you wanted them to say you are a good person, you are a scholar, you are rich, you did that, you did charity. You have already gotten your reward, so you don't have anything here. So the person will be stranded, and there is no way to come back and make up all those things that he missed. So we have to become dedicated and focus, good intention, because there is a prophetic tradition that says that the heart is in control, and if the heart spoils, all the deeds, the good deeds, the deeds will be spoiled, because the heart has control. If I'm doing something, my heart will tell me, do this is good, don't do this is bad. And Islam is all about punishment and reward, but that punishment is not meant for, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is a merciful God. It's not that he is threatening us with punishment. No, he wants us to have a peaceful and harmonious society, coming together, free of evil and vices. That's why he's threatening. If you steal, let them cut off your hand. If you commit illegal sexual intercourse, if you are married, you have to be killed. So that tomorrow somebody will take example from that. If I did this, I will be killed. I cannot go there. It's a no-go area. No, if you did not pray, you enter hellfire, because you have to pray. That's the essence of your worship. You have to give charity. If you give charity, you are cleansing your wealth, and that's bridging the gap between the rich and the poor. You see that you remove from it and give somebody, and it makes him happy. Let me not
we're actually out of time right now, but it's been so good to
Zakatul Fitr.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
We're out of time. Maybe we'll have you on another show to give us a lot more insight on this.
This is also important because it's aftermath of Ramadan.
Okay, go ahead.
The Zakatul Fitr is something that is not is obligatory to some extent for people that have the capacity, not generally. Then it's given 2 days before the fasting. Before Eid, you can start giving 2 days before Eid till the morning of the Eid prayer. That's the Salah day, before going to the mosque. And the essence of doing that is that you help. If I don't have what to eat during the Salah on Eid day, by giving me that, you have made my day. And it's actually being given from the majority of what we eat. For instance, in Abuja here, majority of what we eat is rice. So you give out is average from the handful, full hands of average person, not smallish, not too big. And it's easier now. We have the one container for measurement. You just take one full and you give it. You count, even if it's an infant that is being given birth today, you give out for him. The people that you feed, your drivers, your house help, people that that feeds under you. So you have to, give out each for one person. You take that measurement for one person. And that's also a very good thing, because it makes, if you make somebody happy and, reduce his burden, Allah will reduce your own burden, inshallah.
All right. Thank you, Hawa. Thank you, Jibril, for coming in. It's been fantastic talking to you about Ramadan, and as we round up on it, we wish you both the very best, and that we hope to have you as well again in the conversation room. This has been Conversations here on NTA Network. Our social media handles are available on the screen. We would like to hear from you. What does Ramadan mean to you? Please be sure to get in touch with us. We always read the feedback that you send to us and appreciate it. Thank you so much for tuning in. See you another time. This is Nike with the rest of the people in the house saying goodbye.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.